Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Portal Reloaded. Let's continue. Slept since the last recording. This was the one that we particularly cheated on, I think, or the game really wants us to cheat. So it'll be interesting going forward now in seeing in the last 10 puzzles whether the game is going to have sneaky little cheat ways in which we solve all of them, or whether there was an actual solution there and I just didn't see it.
Well, you solved it. Congratulations.
Although it is also very possible that we are just going to break out of the puzzles part of this. Still seeing some very basic issues here, such as the cursor showing up on the screen when obviously some people can program games not to do that.
We tried many times to open a passage to the future, but this connection, exactly 20 years from now, is the only one stable enough to last longer than a few microseconds.
Interesting. Getting some backstory. There's our little projector thing shooting a cube up. You almost would have to assume that this is scripted. I imagine in Portal 1 and Portal 2 there was a lot more cheats than even they admitted, as far as just having things scripted so it will always go up and down and can't go left or right or back or forward. Because if physics were really acting on this, there's just too high of a chance that you'd hit it on a corner. It is also very weird that it is spinning and tumbling like this, because I kind of feel like in the official games, this would just be going straight up and coming back down. But I can't say I really hate the idea of having more interstitial rooms like this. That's something that the official games didn't really have. Now, if it is a case where you can only go back and forth between this one timeline, that really implies that there's something special about the one timeline in the future, one point in the future. And here we have yet another room that just does not feel like a room that the official game would have ever created. Okay, so we are going that way, but there's a button that needs to be pressed also. And then there's a wall over here that may be more projectors. I think it is. Noticeably, there's nothing else here. So, this shoots you that way, that shoots you that way, and that hits you here. Okay. And interesting, it's playing a little music whenever you hear it. There we go. Okay. So all I need to do, I think, is put that there. Let's just not fall through this hole, so we'll just jump to the side and fall down here. And yeah, just put that there. So in the future, this is covered up and broken, so you can't do it in the future completely. So I'll have to move this time portal and then move it back, but we will be ending on the future, and we pretty much have all the solutions ready to go. Because you have this whole time element to it, it definitely feels like there's a way you could run backwards through all these puzzle paths if there weren't teleporters. If they revealed that the teleporters were actually a gimmick and all the puzzles were just right next to each other. Because if we are actively alternating between the future and the present at the end of each puzzle and at the beginning of each puzzle, then there is an alternate path where you once walked through the hallways in the future. If you walk that through the hallway in the present, there might be something else, and that could be an interesting twist, certainly. But I imagine it's not a twist that's really going to have anything happen with it. So we'll just enjoy the ride, looking backwards.
Good. The second half of this testing course is located below you. Unfortunately, no elevator can take you there, so you will have to take the stairs.
So I guess that's the halfway point for the puzzles, or for the game. Not really for the puzzles, because that was like 16 of 25. And yeah.
That works too.
So we were gonna take the stairs that were further. Instead, we're just, I guess, jumping. Or let's just make sure there's not a smarter way to do this. We still walked through the disable time grid switch. And so we are just going to slowly work our way through portals, down lower and lower. I suppose it's worth mentioning that I think it was probably a couple of months to maybe a year after. Here, let me pause this and drink some water while I'm at it too. Somewhere between a few months and a year, the Steam Deck was announced by Valve, and as a way to advertise the Steam Deck, they came out with Aperture Desk Technician or Aperture Desk Lab as a side story in the Portal universe, and talking about kind of a prequel experience of Cave Johnson and such. So it oddly undercut the possibility of a Portal prequel by doing that, and it wasn't really a game more than it was just a comedic experiment or demo of what they expect can be done with the Portal, with the Steam Deck. In fact, you don't even really use portals in it. So it's just a fall down this way. So this is pretty much just a safety net area that's not that safe. In case you fell down here, you can get back up, but if you fell down there, you can't get back up. They just really wanted you to go here. And I guess they made it not too hard to figure out this was the direction to go if you were down in that direction. So one would suspect there might be a speed run to just jump all the way down and then shoot this way. That being said, I do notice this little redness over here, so I wonder if they've hidden something like a radio. They never really did anything more with the radio. Yeah, I don't know if that glowing red is a radio or what. They introduced the radios before as a teaser to announcing the Portal 2 as an augmented reality game.
You might have noticed that something is not quite right here. Remember when we told you that the decay of the facility was completely intentional? Turns out, that was a lie. There is a bigger picture here. Your test might be the most important one ever conducted. For now, let's just try to get back on track and keep going.
So, interesting twist. Instead of the cake is the lie, the decay is a lie. So, perhaps what they are doing is sending you to the future to have you fix and maintain Aperture Science so it just lives forever. Or perhaps we're not actually going in the future at all, and it is just different parts of the facility that are actually decayed now. The 20 years in the future is definitely a lie. You definitely don't get a lot of sections like this where you're just seeing the back rooms, not to quote the meme back rooms, but just the back areas, the office areas of Aperture Science. When we do see that, even in the official games, it's fairly limited because they just really don't have a lot of stuff to show you. There's pretty generic, almost, if it weren't source engine stuff from Half-Life and previous Valve games, I'd almost call them asset flips of walls and computers and desks and chairs. They're pre-purchased content nonetheless, or pre-made content nonetheless. This is seemingly the corrupted ingredients to making a cake that would be in the official games. So I think that's pretty much just either the assets from the official Portal 2 or just a reference there. Interesting that some doors are locked and some doors aren't. You would kind of want to see some indicator as to why one door would be locked and one door wouldn't be. And at this point, we may be going back to old puzzles. Or not. So if I shoot through the glass, it'll just fizzle. So you have to actually find a place to get there. More than likely, this is all the exact same. Same corrupted ingredients to making a cake. Did some light turn on? Or did that light over there turn on? It's possible that we are just saving GLaDOS. That's fairly believable that we're just bringing her back online. Interesting, you have a little collapsed stairs here. They are experimenting with definitely different angles than what you would have seen in any of the previous Portal games. It also definitely feels like that first puzzle we did, where we were just shot through the air. Definitely worked fairly well, although I'm seeing a button over there to project a cube here. And definitely feels like there's something more to all this. Do I have a single wall I could even get to a place with? Yeah, I do, so. Getting shot up is interestingly fairly easy, and you can see all these stairs and things on the side here. So the question is, where is the button? It must be over here on the right. Okay. So I can't put a time portal that way. This blinking light indicates to me that there might be something over there, but I don't think there actually is. Yeah, the question is with the time portals. Like, you literally can only put it in one place, and that's right here. And then you walk through here, and you can't put a time portal anywhere else. So even at this point, they've said, we don't want you to solve this puzzle in any way that's crazy. We want you to solve this puzzle the way we think it should be solved. And even in this case, in the present, you can see this is just not finished puzzles. Right. And then, this could be one of those puzzles that you just don't run into a lot, where you end up dying quite a bit. I guess that is the point. You should have seen the cube. Alright, we'll try this differently. We'll just fall that way after we hit the button. And that'll ensure our safety. Sufficient to say, though, that didn't work. So the cube falls in the water. We've got to actually actively grab it when we're flying through the air. Interesting. You can't do anything with the time. So why is the timing so off? And then you have like all these side walls that don't really help you. Yeah. It's falling just at the exact time to bounce you, when almost certainly you would think that that would be scripted so that wouldn't happen, or that you would just knock it out of the way, and instead of it knocking you down and losing all your momentum from that. Alright. Well, They say insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Is there... like, if there was a laser platform or something, that would make some sense. We should look around. Oops. Well, at least I didn't die from that. Yeah, and I imagine if something is destroyed in the present, it wouldn't then be around in the past. Nothing surprising there. I don't think you really do anything with those two pieces. Suppose we could try this. But you can't really put the time thing anywhere, so even if you were gonna fling yourself and you had like the time travel on one hole and the blue portal on another hole, it doesn't feel like you would move straight. It feels like you'd hit your head. And if you did that, I mean, it's worth a try, I suppose. Right. Just kind of line everything up. And then you really would have one way you could do this. And if I was gonna fling myself through this whole shenanigans, then I don't really need it to go through the orange there. I need it to go through there. And just hope that there's oddly some kind of major delay. Yep. Yeah, it says the cube is there, but it's not there in the future. It says the cube is there, and it's not there in the past. It just doesn't make sense. I suppose you could try something like this. Interesting. Going backwards did seem to fix it. So maybe my timing is just a little too quick? Nope. This definitely feels like this is a trick. If this is how they intended you to solve this, that is not something that you would see in the original game. The idea of going backwards to get the timing just perfectly right. And this is the second time we've seen something sort of like that. And notably, the Portal games have never been up to snuff when it comes to modern concepts of giving hints or helping you if you're dying over and over again. So I can't really expect too much extra from a community-made mod. So we need to be a little higher. A little higher. There's something I don't understand about this. And it's not just escape and wander around the puzzle, I don't think. I think once we saw the 17, this was a real puzzle we were supposed to really solve. Suppose there is a question here as far as could you go back into this area and just make sure there's nothing there. We have to escape in the future because of this emancipation grid, or fizzler, or whatever it's called. Yeah, and there really is just no tricks. It's got to be probably something like this. Just walk forward, do this, and at least we didn't die that way, so yeah. Send this possibly. You'd think that these would be centering themselves completely. I didn't even see it that time. Like, ideally what you'd want here is you'd want it to drop faster, not slower. You'd want to be able to be looking as forward as possible. So let's just do it that way. Look as forward as possible, tap the X as quickly as possible to just... It changes your angle, though. And again, I feel like the original games would have adjusted for this in playtesting, and whereas the fan-made community mod's not going to have that level of playtesting. So it's got to be maybe not all the way up, but just like slightly at an angle. Well, I'm screwed now. Actually, I was screwed anyways because I didn't put the portal down. If there was a way perhaps to fall through this point, and I mean, I guess you could possibly do that. Let's see what that feels like. Well, there might be some safety in that. If we can just get the angles somewhat correct. The game may be fairly generous as far as clicking the buttons, and so if we are effectively just like looking sideways, yeah, you can pretty much look totally sideways and come out on this side. I can't really believe this is how the game intended for you to solve it, though. So I'm probably just picking safety. Safety with an odd angle. Yeah, it seems very weird that you would just grab it. And if there was a time travel element to this where we could get the new box to bump the old box, no, that wouldn't work, because as soon as the new box moves at all, the old box is potentially going to be destroyed. All it really wants me to do is get the new box on this platform. That's it. And then go into the past and get it. That's all it's really asking. And yet, any awkward angle seems to cause a death or two. We definitely have changed our experience quite a bit here. Like, we were basically never dying, or dying on really stupid things, and now we are dying fairly consistently. Yeah, I think you're too far away, though. I think there's really not a solution to that way. Maybe I shouldn't just grab it. Maybe I should just see what happens if we bounce it. Nope. That being said, being more focused on moving the camera down got it in clearer eyesight better. So this may just be a jump that is designed with the idea of you're going to press X once, then you're going to pick that up and once, and just be more in control and less spastic about it. Finally. It's completely unacceptable really, that was the solution. When you just see how much I struggled with that. Alright. And the problem certainly now will just come down to if I fling myself and don't grab it, well, actually, how do I fling myself? Because I don't have the fling here. I don't think... Well, I guess we're gonna have to find out if... I don't know if cubes can go through the green door. So even if we did have a second cube, how does that benefit us? In the present, we need to go through this point. The elfing is up there, the elfing is up there, but that won't hit anything over there. This would fling me upward fairly quickly. So I need something on the ground, effectively, to fall onto from a fairly high height. And I really don't want to mess this up and have to start all over again. But yeah, nothing. This flinger, I'm not going to clear off this point and fling ourselves there. There's not a ceiling panel or anything like that. There are some walls where I could potentially fling myself from wall to wall, but I don't know how. Like, you could potentially go up from here and then down to a floor panel if there were any white on the floor, but there isn't. You could potentially try to fall through that, or try and fall through that. Let's go back to the present and see if there's an idea there. If we were to try and fall through that and hit that quickly, then Yeah, it does, that I don't think that really does anything for us. Because it's not like you have 4 portals you can interact with here because of the whole time travel element being locked behind this door. So yes, I could try to set myself up to fall through from here to there, but there's no way I could then get another portal from there to there. It almost feels like there should be a system in which a new cube would just automatically get dropped and it would just be jumping in circles. And I've seen that in the original game, certainly, and that would make some more sense. I can't take a cube through the fizzler down there. I kind of feel like I need to try and take the cube to the past, but I have no idea why. If there was something in the past that disabled the shield, then it would make sense. Well, here's an insane thought. What if the cube from the past hit the cube from the present in the present, then knocked the cube in the present towards the emancipation grid? Wouldn't that just destroy the emancipation grid though? Yeah, it would just destroy the cube. So there still wouldn't be a cube in the future over there. And if I could just make a time portal, the solution would be blatantly obvious. Otherwise, we're taking 45 minutes. We did so well on the last couple of puzzles. Okay. Yeah, you fling this cube through the emancipation grid and it will just destroy it, and then the future one would not be there. So is there a smarter location where the cube could be? Now that we have it. Again, I'm just trying to look to see if maybe there's some way you're supposed to break out of this. I mean, you could certainly try to drop it down from that point, but there's no way you're going to be able to drop it down and then move another portal over this way in time. Doesn't seem like there's a way to speed up this process. It does kind of feel like what should happen is something like this. Although it kind of, the extra element there seems unnecessary. I really don't want to lose this cube. though. If I got the cube from the past, and put it on this platform and then shot it through there and then through there, it would probably just bump this. It doesn't make sense. Yeah, if, for instance, this was broken in the present and not the future, then maybe you could take the cube from the present, stick it here, and then in the future it would be fixed and it would be shot forward. It'd be interesting if the story did try to make the argument that this is actually the present and the future is actually the clean version. But that's hard to believe also. Let's ask the simple question. How did I get here before? Or did I ever get here before with the in the future? Just not worry about the cube for a second. Okay. Well, at least that resets everything. Although that was probably the worst way to die in that. Okay. The thing we were asking is how did I or can I fling myself over to this point? Because, yeah, that's at the core of it what we need to know. And so my question is, I guess, does this work? I mean, can we even get up there? Yeah, that flings you fairly high up. And that gets you to that point. Okay. So when falling, if I was to fall down this way, like, that's only going to get you that far falling. In part because that's you're coming this way, and then you're just going to keep falling downward and downward and downward. You're never going to be able to switch it around and be projected out from that point. Let's look around a little bit more. That's probably why there's this like step down too, is that they are trying to give you a hint as to what is not going to work. Over here, That disables the time portal. Wait a minute. Tricky, tricky, tricky. That's the solution. You had to walk through this gate to disable, then re-enable the time portal. And that's the only way that you could solve this, I bet. Okay. So now comes the nightmare scenario, unless we just get really lucky. Just try to be cool and calm and collected with it. First try, awesome. Now, the question then just behooves us. At what point do we want to come out? This might be more complicated than it seems. It might be less complicated than it seems. I want to fling myself through here and fling myself through there in the future. I don't know about walking through that. I think that would disable my portal gun. I think notably that's not the goal, and that's why these toggle on and toggle off. I don't think there's something you can do to use this. Fling myself down here, but then there would be no way to get down to that. Fling myself there, there's no way to get to that. What is the future part of this that plays? If I come out of this in the past, that doesn't work. I need a way in and out. Fling yourself here. I guess it probably is a case where you would come out of this, but I don't know how you get in that. Like, because again, if we put the time portal here, this really doesn't feel like the angles are right, but I'm gonna hope this is right. Let's see if we can actually just do a little save scumming too while we're at it. And I'm hoping I can just hit X once and I won't just bump into it. Fingers crossed this works. I wouldn't be surprised if I run into a problem, though. There we go.
Well done. Since the catwalk to the next chamber appears to be non-existent, you can rely on the power of aerial faith plates to get you there.
And I think it's definitely worth it to save there. Alright, so these levels and these episodes, I was trying to make 30-minute episodes. We went 55 minutes on that. It is getting more awkward by the moment, whether it is trying to figure out what angle is preserved or trying to figure out what angle is preserved when going through time and trying to catch a box. In all fairness, though, this puzzle would have been a lot easier had the box simply been bounced out of the way every time I crashed into it, instead of it killing all of my momentum, which is just not realistic at all. And that is the weirdness of physics, or trying to have real-world physics in a game and simulate that, is that in the real world, you would have to calculate what the weight of the cube is, or the mass of the cube is, versus the mass of the player is, and almost certainly the cube is lighter than the mass of the player, so then you would subtract the two, and then the velocity, the delta velocity or the forward velocity of the player would be reduced by perhaps the weight of the cube and air resistance, but it wouldn't come to a complete stop. It may slow you down a small amount, unless they're trying to make an argument that the cube is the exact mass of a human, which I've always had the pet theory that it would be funny if they revealed the companion cubes actually just had corpses of humans or living humans crashed into them, considering how in the Portal game they make you incinerate a companion cube. But they never went that gory with it. But yeah, I think in the first game, if you had bumped into a cube while you were flying, it would have been bumped out of the way, and that would have solved that problem there very easily. It's just to have it so that happened, because I died a lot on that level. Otherwise, yeah, these puzzles are fine. I know we probably only have about 8 more of them, and so 8 really, really hard puzzles might be a little too much, but it's not going to be an insane amount too much. I don't know if we're really going to see a boss or a massive final puzzle or anything like that, though, so we may just finish a fairly large puzzle, and then that'll be it for the game. That is it, however, for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend to follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and get me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.